Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a grateful Tuesday, and it is your girl Crystal Flowers coming on here this morning, like I do every Tuesday, to give you a word of inspiration. But I have something exciting for you today. Today, I have an absolutely amazing person coming on today. It is Dexter L.Scott of the Upgraders. And I'm just waiting for him to jump on, and we're going to have a conversation about the mindset. Um, Let me see if I can search him out. Go. Give it just a second. Ah, there he is. He's coming on. There he is.
Hey,
Good
Crystal.
morning,
How
Dexter.
are you?
I am well. How about yourself?
Good. I'm doing well. Thank you.
I am super excited about this conversation. I just told the audience, I'm just excited, really excited about this conversation that we are going to be having about the mindset. And guys, first, let me give you a brief introduction of who this dynamic man is that you see before you. This is Dexter L. Scott. He is, first of all, he is a believer. He is a husband to my gorgeous friend, Tanya Joyner Scott. He is a father, a husband. And guys, he has been very successful as an entrepreneur, making multiple millions and still blessing me with some time. I love it. He is also, him and his wife, Tanya Joyner Scott, they have a business called the Upgraders, and they go out, they speak to several different platforms on the person. It's a personal development business corporation, and they go out and they also are able to speak and train on different platforms for corporations, churches, businesses, organizations on mindset development and communication. And they also have resources to help people elevate their lives and level up. Dexter recently authored a book called Help My Mind Is Too Loud. And that's one of the books we're going to be tapping into today with some of the information from out of it. And we're going to be talking about that on how to declutter and get to that place of gratitude, right? This platform is about gratitude, but it always starts with the mindset. And so we're just going to be delving into a little bit of that on today. Also, Dexter has been able, him and his wife, Tanya Joyner Scott, recently have another platform. These are some busy people, guys, and they have a platform called Upgrade Your Life on Iheartradio, and it's a national radio show. Guys, be sure to tune in on 7 p.m. on Sundays. That's when they're going to be sharing information about various topics, and Dexter will probably tap into and give a little bit more information about that in just a few. But that is who this dynamic gentleman that you have in front of you, this is who he is. And I'm just super excited about having him on this platform today. So, wait a minute. Let me do a little bit of logistics. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to be able to share this live, because this information that's getting ready to go out, it is for the masses. It is for everyone. When you're talking about mindset is for everyone. You may think that the person that's sitting beside you or someone that you know may not be ready for this, but guys, everything starts with the mind, and Dexter is gonna just delve in and share a wealth of information with us. And thank you for joining, guys. Thank you. We appreciate you for joining. So, Dexter, did I do you justice?
Crystal, first of all, thank you. Right? Yeah, you did an excellent job. But you talk about mindset clutter. Oh my God, you just tapped into all of
Yes, yes,
that. Oh my
yes, yes,
goodness.
yes. And
Oh
go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. I just said no. Excellent. Thank you so much. That was a great introduction, and I really appreciate you. Just the amazing person that you are.
Thank
Uh,
you.
just the digital space that you're in is amazing, and you're teaching all of us, so thank you for that.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. So, guys, every week I come up here and I just want to be able to give a little bit of hope and a little bit of inspiration just to kind of help you puddle through your week. This all started through COVID, trying to just give us a little bit of extra to go on. And I tried to quit it and God said no, right? So I had to keep it going. And what I decided to do was to start inviting other beautiful people with beautiful minds and with that spirit of hope to be able to help channel this information out to other people. And Dexter is one of them. And guys, we're going to be getting some information out of his book today. Help My Mind Is Too Loud. Guys, this book has been, I got it the other day and I've almost read it twice already because the information that's inside of it is really, really beneficial just for doing things practically. I journal. I go on, I journal every day, about gratitude, things of gratitude. But this is also a really great book to be able to help you remove some of that stuff out of your way in order to tap into gratitude, right? Because you can't tap into something if you've got a whole lot of stuff bogging you down. And so, Dexter, I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to let you jump on in here. But one of the things that I wanted you to share with was how these decluttering techniques are able to, I kind of hit it a little bit, I'm sorry.
No,
How these decluttering techniques are able to help you tap into that emotion of gratitude.
yeah. So thank you for that, Crystal. So, well, let me say this first. The very reason that I wrote the book, because I was dealing with a lot of mental stuff, and I still am. How's that? I mean, it is crazy. Oh my God, Crystal, it's crazy just having to manage everything that's coming at you. The bites of information that's coming from all of these different platforms. It's just hard to get through that stuff. So as it relates to gratitude, so gratitude has to be singular.
Yes.
So if I am going to be grateful for example, my wife, Tanya,
right,
my energy has to go towards thinking about Tanya and not thinking about Tanya, the kids, the house, the car, the traffic,
right,
the bills, all of that kind of stuff. So when I wrote the book and thinking about how to clear this head, it was because so much was coming. And I know that I was internally just freaking out.
right.
And then you turn on the news and then everything is freaking out.
Oh God.
And it's like, how in the world can I even keep going with all of this stuff going on? So
right,
gratitude, one of the things I always say is where the mind goes, the energy flows.
right,
And then the focus expands. So what you focus on expands. So if I'm being grateful for Tanya for 21 years of marriage, giving me 4 amazing children, all those kind of things, it's amazing. Think about that, Crystal. I'm talking to you now.
right,
and Tanya's up in the office. I just said Tanya's name,
right,
but it took me from talking to you. My mind went to Tanya and I started lining out. She's a wife. She's a mother.
right,
Yeah, it started to expand.
right,
So even in
right.
that singular focus is teaching us that that is how we become grateful when we tune everything out and just focus in on what we want to be grateful for.
Right. And inside of your book, there was one of the things that I've already tried a couple of times. You were talking about how you would when you take your daughter to the school bus, and you had this activity that you utilized to declutter. And Dexter, I tried it and it works. You use like a key word, and I stole your word too. In order to clear your mind, because the mind just starts it starts going. You start, like you said, you start getting all of those things inside. And so it helps you to get to that singular part by just activating a word to help you filter out everything. And your word was clear. And so if you're thinking about the traffic, the news, the blah, 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 and your focus should be on your conversation or your interaction with your child at that time at the bus stop, you would just say clear. And when you said clear, your mind would come back to just focusing on that one thing. And Guys, you really got to get the book. I mean, because I don't think I did justice to the explanation, but it's a very powerful tool on being able to filter out some things and bring you back to what you're supposed to be focused on.
Yeah.
In retrospect to that singular thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that was something that I thought was very, I mean, well, I've already tried it and it works.
Crystal, I did it this morning.
Oh, did you?
I did. Cause see, here's the thing. So I get up, the alarm clock goes off at 5:19,
Okay.
and I go straight to the car. Morgan comes downstairs. She gets in. Now, this is something that I've been doing. So Tanya and I, we listen to frequencies at night. But what
Okay.
I started doing is listening to rain. It's either rain
Oh,
or the ocean.
okay.
So I go to YouTube and I type in rain to help me
Okay.
sleep. It plays all night. So what I do is when I wake up at 5:19, I grab my headphones, put them on,
Hmm.
click the button. Now I got the sound in my ear. Walk
Ah,
straight to the car. Morgan gets in. I say good morning, and I listen to rain all the way to the bus stop. And I sit there, wait on the bus. She gets out. I tell her, have a good day. I come all the way home. Now, interesting, what happens is I'm listening to the rain,
mm,
but to the day's thoughts start coming.
right, right.
And I'm like, clear, clear. And it brings
Mm-hmm.
me back to the rain. Clear,
Right,
clear. And I
right.
keep doing it until I get home. The reason I'm doing that is because
Mm-hmm.
I want to lay back down for another hour, hour and a half. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes, and I learned this the hard way because my mind would be racing so much. By the time I got home, it wasn't need to lay back down because I'm already just geared
Ship
up.
going.
I'm geared up.
Right,
I'm going. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot do this every morning. So I had to
right,
figure
right.
some things out. Yeah.
Right. And that mind, trying to like even talking about that, that word clear, clearing out your mind,
Mm-hmm.
it is so beneficial because the mind will race. Like what I'm finding now in this day and age, we're like a dump. We're
Yeah.
like a computer dump. So
Mm-hmm.
everything you see, everything you hear, I think you even talked about it in your book. Like we don't even have, I think they said we used to be able to focus for 12 minutes. Now it's only 8 minutes. And
Mm-hmm.
so we don't even have that focus span. So being
Yeah.
able to switch that mind back to where it should be
Yeah.
is really, really beneficial. When you're talking about gratitude, that emotion of gratitude, right? That mindset. Dexter, what are some of the things that you do to be able to, some practices that you do outside of the clear that you do to be able to keep yourself, um, I'm not going to say inspired because it's really not, gratitude is
Mm-hmm.
really not inspired, but keep yourself motivated to keep going. And I know your family is very, very important to you,
Yeah.
but some mindset things that you can share with us.
Right. So there are two YouTube videos that I highly recommend. I
Okay.
mean, they're short, but they are so powerful. Now they work for me. So my recommendation is find videos that's going to really inspire you. So in the book, I talk about, how when our mind gets cluttered and
Uh-huh.
we just get all messed up, it can lead us into a depression. It
Mm.
it really can. I've been there and
Yeah.
fighting through that stuff. So two things I like to do is there's one, it's called Focus by Eric Thomas.
Okay.
So just Google, go to YouTube and type in Eric Thomas Focus.
Okay.
It's like 4 minutes. It is so powerful. When I turn that on, and as a matter of fact, some mornings I play that on the way back from Morgan because I
Okay.
need to focus. I need to focus. So that
Right.
one, and one that I watched this morning is Google YouTube Tony Robbins private
Mm.
private island.
Oh, wow.
It is so inspiring. So Tony Robbins has an island that he
Hmm.
purchased years ago. He got it really cheap, but it's still like $20 million. But he has his
Right.
own island in Fiji.
Okay.
And when he goes there, he has a routine that he does, and it's such a peaceful place. But not only is it peaceful, but it's inspiring for me to see that you know what, one day I want to have my island. I mean,
Right,
I would love
right,
to have an
right,
island.
right,
Those are the kinds of things that I think about. And it's interesting, Crystal, with me, it's always family. I'm a family man.
right,
So
right, right.
when I think about the lake house,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I do also, sometimes I'll go to Zillow and just
Okay.
Google lake houses and
Right.
just look at the house. And then once I look at it, I start visualizing us visiting
Yes. Right.
or buying it.
Right.
And it's amazing what it does to your mind. As a matter of fact, I took talk about digital creation. It didn't look that good, but I took some pictures of a lake house,
Uh-huh.
and I took some sold signs that I found on Google.
Mm-hmm.
Then I took a picture of Tanya and
Right.
I cropped in sold, and me and Tanya standing like in the yard or something, And I made like 5 or 6 pictures of that just to
Right.
keep it in my head.
Right. And
Yeah.
visualization is really, really important. I think that even, you know, what you were saying, visualization is very important when you're trying to achieve things. That's why a lot of people do vision boards or vision books and different things like that in order to put themselves. And I know, like, even guys, for a lot of you that don't know, me and Dexter are also in business together, but he always encourages us to go out there and dream, right? Just go to your dream house, go to your dream neighborhood and do things like that. Because when you actually start to see it, you start to, like he did, put yourself in that position, and you actually start to drive towards it. You start to go towards it, which is absolutely amazing. So Dexter, I'm going to just tap into a little bit more
Okay.
the people. In your book, you talk about people getting starting to eliminate people out of your lives. And I know this is a very hard topic for people to do.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you carry around that toxic energy and those toxic people along with you, but you don't realize how that carries so much clutter in your life when you're talking about carrying around that toxic energy. So just share with us a little bit about how to get those, to be able to separate yourself from people.
Yeah. It's not easy by any means,
Mhm.
especially when you identify like your influencing style, which is one of the things that Tanya and I
Yeah,
teach. When you identify that, then you begin to really see why it's more difficult for you than others.
right.
Like when you are a people person, it is hard to eliminate people. That's just it. So, uh, I was thinking about this morning, Crystal. I said, Lord, when you pray, Lord, please remove people from my life that you
Right.
no longer want in my life, right? And when He does it,
Mm-hmm.
don't be surprised.
Right,
You didn't
right,
ask for it; you
right,
need it. So
right,
you need to be able to walk in that. So for
right.
me, it was easy to put people in buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean that negatively, but the same now. Here's a flip side of that. The
Mm-hmm.
same way that I pray that God remove people from my life that don't need to be there,
Mm-hmm.
He's removing them because He has something for them too,
Right, right.
right? So we
Right,
gotta we gotta look at that not as a negative, but as just we're both growing and expanding in our own areas.
right.
So when you start putting people in buckets, then it becomes easier to say, you know what, they were good for me at that time of my life,
Mm-hmm.
but it's time for us to separate. But also, I still know them. I still wish them well. I
Right,
still want them to succeed in whatever it is that they were
right,
trying to do too. So
right,
that's when it became easier.
right.
Because after
And
all that initial emotion, I call it
right.
crap because this emotional mess is just something. But after we deal with all that stuff, we all want everybody to win, you know?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And I think that's you said it, it's the hard part. Like the hard part is the emotional part because you think, oh, because someone's not in your life or they're not active in your life, let me say that,
Mm-hmm.
that it has to be a bad vibe or a bad separation or whatever, or it has to be some bad toxic something going on, when it doesn't necessarily have to do so. It's just you've moved on to here. Now I'm moving on to here, and we're both going to elevate. We just don't have to be in the same space anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think you said it best when you said that emotional stuff, because that's what it really is, that emotional. In your book, you said that you are either a great example or a terrible reminder, and they are inspired by you, or they don't like you because you remind them of what they could have been.
Mm. Whew.
They-
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Yes, it is. And when I read that, I was like, like you said, people want you to succeed, but sometimes the reminder of what you're elevating into, or they see what you're elevating into, and it reminds them of what they're not tapping into for themselves. And so that can be sometimes, a little riff or a little difficult.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And so another thing you talked about in your book, because I'm going, Dexter, I dug into this book. So you talked about was the thoughts, and your thoughts, and how they are genesis. You said your thoughts are the genesis for your thoughts are the genesis of mindset clutter. This is where it all starts. So get control of your thoughts, and your mindset clutter will be tamed. Now, we talked about this earlier, but I want to tap back into it to some of the things that you also said, that there's several things that affect your thought habits, everyday stress, making decisions, and unfinished business. And
Yeah.
so Sunday, my pastor was talking about sometimes not making those decisions is because people don't make decisions. Sometimes it's because they're afraid of the regrets that'll come with the making of the decisions, or they have too
Yeah.
many options, so they're afraid of making a decision because they're afraid of, okay, if I do this, maybe that would have been, that
Right.
type of thing. But not making a decision is also making a
Making
decision.
decisions. Right. It is.
You've already made a decision when you don't make the decision.
Right.
And so I just want to talk about that again, about the decision making process with your thoughts being so many thoughts, and that decision making process, if that makes sense. Did I
Yeah, it does. So yeah, give me a specific question, and then I'll take it from there. Like, yeah.
So, like, you got, should I go to the laundry, or should I go iron my clothes, or should I do fold the clothes, or should I do this, da da da? And you got four different things, like, should you do, and then you just absolutely do nothing,
Mm-hmm.
because all of those thoughts are processing in your head. I guess I kind of
Yeah.
processing in your head, but it's just that point of, I guess, thinking it through and getting to the point of making the decision.
Right.
How do you declutter that stuff to just be able to make that decision? Is
No,
that
that's very good,
you got?
because I
Okay.
was looking, I was trying to find. Okay, let me read this really quickly. It says,
Okay.
making a lot of decisions can really wear you out and create mindset clutter. There's a reason why Steve Jobs, former
Mm-hmm.
President Barack Obama,
Oh yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg, and Albert Einstein limit their daily wardrobes to just a few items. The elimination
Right.
of choice. So, and it's called decision fatigue.
Yes. Okay.
So for that, Chris. Okay, so if it's four things that you stirring around, just do one of them. Forget the other three, and just do
Right.
one. And I'm learning that, but I've learned that because I've learned that when you stir around in the four, you are getting further and further away from making a decision,
Right.
and it can be
Right.
exhaustive.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why,
Yeah.
like Mark Zuckerberg, if anybody sees him, I don't know what he's wearing now, but the blue jeans and the gray t-shirt. Every time you would see him do something, on whether it was public, blue jeans, gray t-shirt.
Right.
The reason for that is decision fatigue. He knows that I need my brain matter for the bigger decisions,
Right.
the better decisions,
Right.
the ones that I really need to attack. So that's why when I know Damon John talks about, he doesn't even open up his email until a certain time of day, because he
Mm-hmm.
knows that
Right. You
Coming in as soon as I check that email.
right, right.
So I need to live from the inside out first. But it's so the worst thing you can do is get up in the morning and pick up the darn telephone. Oh, oh my God. Text, email. It's insane. But and we've all done it. So we're just learning how
Right.
to we gotta get away from that stuff, you know.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that is so good. I'm glad you said it, you called it out as decision fatigue
Yeah.
because you just be overworking that brain. But that phone in the morning is very it can offset the whole entire day. And
Yeah.
I'm retraining myself. What I did a while ago was I packaged my apps in certain sections. So when I open my phone, it just doesn't open up to Facebook. It just doesn't open up to Instagram. I have to go looking for that. And that
That's good.
means that I'm being, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm being intentional about going looking for it. So if I'm wasting a lot of time, it's because I intentionally did it.
Yeah, that's
Right.
good.
And so
Yeah.
having those apps in those certain things, this is streaming, this might be some food apps, this might be, but whatever it is, I have to intentionally go look for it.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm wasting time, it's because it's on me,
Right.
right? Because a
You
lot of
really want
times,
to do that. Yeah.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
right, right. And
That's
so,
good.
yes. And so another one I'm gonna jump over here is talking about unfinished business. When you're talking about the results of procrastination, and I've been guilty of that, or indecisiveness, is unfinished business takes up valuable mindset space as well. So that's like when you should be doing something, but you don't do it because you want to wait around, or I'll do that later. You keep putting that thing off, putting it off, because it requires you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it requires you. And so you'll do something just mindless or useless in order to avoid doing something that will probably get you closer to your goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so just talking a little bit about that, being
Yeah.
able to mock yourself. And I know that, Dexter, I'm giving you these like leading questions. I apologize,
No, no,
but
no.
I was
It's
just
it's fine.
I really wanted to talk about this book because once I got the book and I read it, I was like, okay, this hot topics.
No, no, this is good because look, I admit I am that's an issue I'm working on because again, remember I said that it goes back to when you find out who you are,
Right.
like how you think, how you function. So here's a prime example, Chris. So let's look now. Business, personal, it all intertwines.
Right.
And I've talked about this jokingly, but it really makes a big difference. So I'm the type of person, if I walk in the bedroom and the bed is unmade, I'll start cleaning, making the bed, right? Let's say Ty and I have a couple of a fork or spoon or a glass or something that
Mhm.
needs to go in the kitchen. I could be making the bed and then I'll see dirty dishes. I'll grab the dishes. And if I'm not consciously conscious, I'm headed to the kitchen to
Mm.
put the dirty dishes in there. And then they're dirty dishes. So I might start cleaning the dishes. Go back in the bedroom and it's unfinished.
Right.
See, all
Right.
of that stuff, I recognize that's my issue.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
not Tanya's. Tanya's, she'll do it to completion and then move on to the next task. Well,
Right.
I recognize for me, it is like that also in business.
Right.
And
Right.
all of this stuff that we're doing, I have really got to be consciously conscious of what I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I got to focus, man, so I can get stuff
Yeah.
done. So that unfinished business can stress you the heck out.
Yeah. Yes. And I find that comes a lot when you're trying to multitask. Like multitask. People say, "Oh, I can multitask." A lot of times we don't because we
No,
don't do quality. Like you said, just said,
right,
you wind up with unfinished things because you're trying to juggle so many things at one time.
right.
And oh man, that's awesome. But so with gratitude, I often encourage people on this platform to get a journal. I talked
Mhm.
about that earlier. And to write down at least anywhere from 5 to 10 things that you are grateful for grateful for, right? I wake up in the morning, I do it, but some people do it at night. Some people like to close their night out by writing gratitude things down and different things like that. Do you have any actual things that you actually do, Dexter? And this is in relation to decluttering. To
Mhm.
declutter, like, do you do anything physical writing or anything like that to declutter? I know some people say if you write some things down on a paper,
Mhm.
or is it called brain dump?
Yeah, yeah, that's one of
Okay.
the phrases. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you do anything to do you have any practices like that outside of the clear that you do
Mhm.
to the dump, and
Well,
outside of those things that we talked about? I'm sorry.
yeah, for me, no, for me, one thing I want to get back in the habit of doing is writing things down. But I do a lot of visualization work at night.
Okay.
And see, the process is our sleep cycles. You know, when we're going from beta to alpha to theta,
Yeah.
theta is that realm of sleep where we're dreaming.
Okay.
So when you're going from beta to, so beta is when we're up, we're working, we're getting stuff done. Alpha, we're relaxed working. So alpha, we're in a zone during the day. But
Okay.
think about it, when we come home at night and we start getting sleepy, we're going into theta.
Okay.
That is the best time to start visualization, because
Mm.
you go to bed with that thought.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, when you rest, I think all of us that's watching, we can all attest that if we're watching something crazy on TV and we
You,
lay down
that is
at
so
night, something
true.
crazy going on.
Yes.
You know, we
It's
go to
true.
bed with that. Yeah.
Yes.
So when we get, like, when I'm really drifting off, I'm really thinking about where I want to go, what
Right.
I want to
Right.
be, and I exercise getting in that feeling and that thought so that I can sleep in it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Dexter, you are absolutely amazing. You just gave me something I'm going to do. I'm going to do the rain.
Oh,
And I'm
that
going
rain is powerful, Crystal.
to,
Look,
and I'm just, because I'm one of those people that sleep with the TV because I like the background noise, right? But if I had that rain, I wouldn't be having the background noise and all of that information that's coming with it. Uh,
exactly. Because see,
mm,
remember, the subconscious mind never sleeps. It's always
right.
open. So
Right.
even when you're sleeping, uh, you hear what's going on the television.
Right.
So
Right.
I was like, we can't do that. So the rain, and it's so many different rains that you can, and they run for 10 hours.
Right.
So
Right.
you can find one that runs for 8 hours, 10 hours, and just play it and just go to sleep, and you're hearing the rain. Now, one of the ones I like to use too is the tin roof rain. You know, when it
Okay.
hits the tin roof.
Tin roof. Yes.
Because I remember that growing up at my grandma's house, we used to go off on
I want
the porch, and when it would rain, it would hit the tin roof, and it
nice.
had a certain sound to it. So that's one of the ones we like to sleep to.
Yeah. And I'm gonna do the sleep visualization. I didn't know about beta, alpha, and theta. I think I read it in the book, but I didn't know how that works with the working, the relaxing, and then the sleeping, and that visualization, that nightly visualization. Like sometimes I'll take 5 minutes and I'll go and sit somewhere quiet and visualize, things, but that sleep visualization, because that's when everything is being deposited, that
Mhm.
is something I'm going to tap into as well. So
Yeah.
Dexter, I know we talked a lot about a lot of different topics, but I know you probably got something more. If you have anything more you want to share, that that the people could benefit. Now I know you got a lot, but we got time. I'm on your time.
Yeah, and it's one thing I wanted to, I really, when we get this, oh my God, it's so powerful. Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Habits eliminate the need to make a choice.
Mm,
I remember we talked about decision fatigue.
right,
So if you make what it is that you want to do a habit, you don't have to make a decision to do it. So you reserve that energy for making the right decisions, or the
right.
ones that need your attention. So when I go out and get in the car and put my seatbelt on, I don't have to decide. It's subconsciously,
Mm,
it's subconsciously embedded. So I go sit down and just pull the thing over, and I'm driving, right? So, and Tanya will attest to this. Anytime I get a lot of things at once, I get overloaded and stressed.
mm,
So I would say, hold on, wait a minute. Like, prime example, this is probably funny, but when we go through a drive-through
Uh-huh.
and I'm asking Tanya what she wants, I'm asking Morgan what she wants, I'm asking Tyler what they want, and they all telling me at one time, I'm like, whoa. I can't. Morgan, what do you want? See,
Right.
now I can, but when it's
Right.
all coming, it's too much for me. I can't do
Right.
it.
Right.
So
Right.
just to let the listeners know is that create a habit, and the habit creation will eliminate your need to make a decision,
Right.
because our decisions need to go towards the things that's going to move us forward.
Right.
That's a very important key.
Right.
Because when I have to think about what shoes I'm going to put on in the morning, do I want those shoes, that shoe, that shirt, blah, blah, I done already drained out something already.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. That's
So
absolutely, yeah.
yeah, go
That
ahead.
is that is so true. And you know, that organization part of it, yeah, I guess, like even outlining your day, like knowing what is going to happen within that day, so it becomes habit forming. Like I had started like calendaring my day,
Mm-hmm.
and so it would be, okay, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna pray, I'm gonna run, I'm gonna come back and shower, I'm gonna come back and eat. And it sounded really mundane, but it actually keeps me going, and it
Yeah,
helps me to kind of not, I got to shut down those phone calls though, because I'll answer a phone call in a minute, but I need to put on that do not disturb so I
right,
can really focus on what those things are that I've charted out that I'm gonna do.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So thank you for that. That is so absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and if I can offer something else,
Hmm.
and Crystal, you said you do it, but I know this might sound strange, but guys, I'm telling you. So let's implement daily journaling, like Crystal said.
Hmm.
I need to implement that. I used to do it and got away from it, but that daily journaling causes you again to focus on what you're writing, and that focus causes it to go deeper into the subconscious.
Yeah.
So you're really starting to drive deep when you focus on what you're writing. Um, there's a closet in our house that it's dark, and again,
Mhm.
this might sound crazy, and Chris, you probably heard this before, but I have a chair that's in the closet,
Mhm.
and when I'm ready to get away, I go in the closet and close the door. It's totally black, and I can
Right.
think.
Yeah.
My phone is not in there. It's just me.
Right.
And sometimes I'll take a book or something to write down if an idea comes. But
Right.
I need that. And here's a really powerful thing to
Mhm.
add to that. You can go from now. Remember I talked about the sleep cycles.
Uh-huh.
People who take a nap during the day, they say a lot of successful people take naps
Mm.
so that they can kind of re-energize themselves for the afternoon if they can do it.
Right.
But you can literally steal away for like 10 minutes a day and go somewhere quiet. If Now, if you're working at your job, this might be a little difficult. I do know some people that might go in the bathroom, literally. They'll go in the bathroom. They'll just go sit down in the stall and close
Mhm.
their eyes. You can literally go within a few minutes, if you're rested, go from beta to alpha to the beginning part, high theta. See, when you're
Mm.
here, you're going to sleep. But you can tap into high theta and go into the visualization part of your head and begin to visualize some things during the day, not going
Right.
to sleep, but you're just resting in a thought just for a few
Right.
minutes. And then you can come out of that and you're totally energized, totally focused. It's
Right.
some powerful stuff. So like
Right.
when I go to the closet, it's just, man, I could be in there an hour and I have no idea I'm in there an hour.
Right.
Because
Right.
my
Right.
thought, I'm allowing myself that time. That's why
Right.
no phone, stop answering email, stop answering text messages. Just set the world aside for a few minutes for you.
Right. 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 That is,
We need that. We need that.
yes. Yeah. And that is so true. Like even garnering out time on social media, because social media can be so not overwhelming, but it can be it can overwhelm you. But
Yeah.
just being able, even carving out time for that, because someone said to me one day, such and such happened to that. You didn't see it on social media. And I was like, no, I didn't see it. But I had tapped out for like maybe 3 or 4 hours. So I didn't see, I wasn't tapped in. So that's another thing, is cutting down that time
Hmm.
of social media, like
Right.
even making it, not always having it so available and just flipping, like even hiding your apps, that, like I was saying earlier.
Hmm.
But that closet, when you said it, Dexter, I mean, you shared it with me before, but when you said it a few minutes ago, the first thing I thought about was when the elders used to go into the prayer closet. It was just like that time
Yeah.
that you just disconnected and you tapped in.
Yeah.
You tapped into God at that time, but it was still that shutting down from everything so that you could be able to even be able to hear your own thoughts and be able to think.
Right.
And that is so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it works. And I'll say
yeah.
this too. Social media, I mean, it's awesome. But on the other side, we just really, us as adults, it's all new
Hmm.
to us. We
Right.
really got to learn how to filter that stuff, because for the more stories that you see, the more
Hmm.
stories that are really falsehoods. But our mind tells us something that we're seeing, which is
Hmm.
through one of our gates, and then we start the competition thing, and then we start becoming guilty that we're
Hmm.
not where they are in life, but we're
Right.
basing all of that on what we see, which is not always the truth.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it gets into all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And that takes you away from being getting back to gratitude. It takes you away from being grateful for what you have, because you're visualizing, you're seeing something through someone else's eyes or through whatever they put up there. Because everything that people put on social media is not necessarily fact,
Right.
right?
Right.
Or
Yeah.
truth. It's a image or a mirage, so
Right.
that they can get more followers, or they can get paid for content, or so some of those things, it's not really all of what it seems. Some of them people are living in the basement of their grandma house, and, and they just got a good camera, I mean a good
Right.
light, good
Right.
lighting, and they making you think that they're doing big things. So
Yeah.
you have to also be able to not do that comparison, as Dexter was saying. So
Yeah.
this has been a really, really great conversation, and I'm truly grateful, Dexter, that you was able to come on today.
Hmm.
Do you have any closing
Well, yeah, I
thoughts?
want to invite everybody to make sure they tune into our new radio channel. So
Yes.
Tanya and I, we own the Sunday evening slot at 7 p.m. on WDRB Media. And when you go to iHeartRadio, in the search engine, just type in WDRB Media, and then
Okay.
it'll pop up. And we come on Sunday nights at 7. It's about expanding, Crystal. And I'm telling you, you mentioned at the beginning that
Hmm.
y'all got so much going on. I was like, oh my God. Because now, like, we can do the podcast in sections, right?
Uh-huh.
We can do recordings, and I can put it out for a little while. But now radio, we're on every week. So
Right.
Tanya and I are going to have to really sit down and carve out what we're going to be talking about, guests that we're going to have on the show. So it's going to be it's going to be
Level.
another level of focus.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah. But I know if nobody else, you two are well able, and you are what you are going to be able to bring, because you bring so much to so many, and not no pressure, but you have you you have been let me see, given that from God, to
mhm,
be able to impact so many different people's lives with your voices, right? You have that slogan, we may not know, we may not know you, but we know what's inside of you, right?
yeah,
And that is really, really, truly who him and his wife are. They are beautiful people, not to give you another whole opening, Dexter, but they actually have been brought to this world to be able to impact people with the information that they have inside of inside of them.
Thank you, Chris.
And they have been so impactful and so beneficial in my life. And I want to say thank you personally, because personally developed, I would not be where I am right now if it had not been for these two phenomenal people being able to make an entrance into my life. And for that, I am truly grateful, right? And I'm thankful. Gratitude is the emotion, but thankfulness is the act. And so I want to act and say, thank you so much for being so impactful on my life. And guys, make sure you tune in on Sundays at 7 p.m. WDRB Media at Iheartradio.
Yeah, on Iheartradio. Yeah.
Iheartradio. And I'm telling you, they will encourage, they will inspire, they will make you move from that stuck place that you're in and get you going. All right. They will give you everything that you need to be able to go. And Dex, I want to congratulate y'all again. But I also, to close out, I always close out this platform, and I want to encourage everyone that's on here. First of all, go out and share this, because Dexter brought some really great information, like I said, that I know that is for the masses, right? And so go out and share. But also, I want to encourage you on today to think about at least two things that you are truly grateful for on today. If it's the fact that you are going to go and declutter your closet, you're going to go and declutter your mind, you're going to declutter your life, you're going to get rid of those people, whatever it is, just think about two things that you are truly grateful for on today. You got lights, you got running water, you got your health, whatever it is, just go out and be grateful for those two things and focus on those two things today. Focus. Right? You might have to say clear a couple of times. Focus on those two things and make it an absolutely amazing day. I promise you, your day will be that much greater. Thank you again, Dexter. I appreciate you so much. We will be seeing you, because I'm going to invite you again before y'all get to the stars to be able to come on again and be able to share with us again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Crystal. Thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
All right. Toodles, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.